Hello everyone, my name's Aspect, your friendly neighborhood artist, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another entry in my attempt to reimagine characters from the series known as... Today, I'll be tackling one of the most iconic faces of Image Comics, so grab your popcorn as I grab my pencil because it's time to redesign Omni-Man. So, before I begin, I'd like to give everyone a huge thank you for the love and feedback on my previous video where I redesigned Invincible himself. If you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go check it out and see what kind of changes I made to Mark's look. Seeing what all of you had to say was absolutely awesome to read through. I'm so excited to share with you today what steps I took to redesign Omni-Man. So, Omni-Man, yet another one of your average caped heroes that soars through the skies helping kittens out of trees, operating as the face of heroism and hope in the world he occupies. Except there's nothing average about him. He's not another rehash of the supermen you're used to seeing. By the way, this video does contain spoilers for the Invincible series if you haven't watched it. But who is Omni-Man? A father? A hero? A villain? A soldier? Or something else? This character has a lot of layers, so I feel obligated to make sure this redesign showcases and respects that. Obligated to ensure that all of the most important parts of the character are amplified instead of lost in the new design. I still remember my first viewing of Invincible Episode 1, which was my introduction into the series. Sitting through that first half of what I thought was just another teenage superhero coming-of-age story, that was until I was hit by the absolute gut-wrenching twist that awaited me at the end of the episode. Omni-Man himself punched through the Guardians so hard that it left a dent in my wallet after I went and bought the entire comic book collection as quick as I could. So I will try my best to make a design that does justice to the character that convinced me to dive into the franchise to begin with. By the way, just as a disclaimer, I do this for fun. I'm not here redesigning Invincible characters on the belief that these designs need to be redone. On the contrary, I think characters such as Omni-Man look absolutely great and I wouldn't change a thing. But for the sake of making content and exercising my strong love for character design, I'm going to try and imagine what it would be like if I was in charge of creating the look of these characters. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's begin redesigning Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man. I begin by sketching out his frame or build. I didn't change much. Okay, I lied. Contrary to my first change with Mark's design, I decided to beef Nolan up a bit. After all, this is the man, the Omni-Man, who went toe-to-toe with the Guardians of the Globe and walked out alive. Or I guess, carried out. In a stretcher. He should look just a little more like he comes from the strongest alien race in the known universe, and not just some guy with a good gym routine, you know? Especially after learning in Season 3 that back on Viltrum, he's actually looked up to. He's not just the average Viltrumite soldier, he is seen as an example to strive toward. So I felt giving him a little more muscle mass gets that across. I also feel it's more reminiscent of the way he's drawn in the comics. I've always been a big fan of Ryan Ottley's art style, and I want my design to have a bit of callback to Ryan's more vulgar and aggressive take on these characters. Now, I'm no art, but next I will be trying to come up with the new look for his suit, and when I say new, I only mean slightly, as this suit gets the job done pretty well. Omni-Man isn't looking to draw attention to himself, not with his entire mission at stake. He's only looking to pass as your average superhero. Someone who you can rely on to put out the fires and catch you when you fall. That is, when he's not the one dropping you 10 stories. So yeah, this suit works pretty great, but nonetheless I have a few design changes in mind. For starters, his logo, the centerpiece of it all, the face of the suit. I actually quite like what they have going on. It's this thick, bold O that showcases strength and superiority. But I want to take it just a step further. I've increased the intensity of the O's edges and made it even thicker. Why, you may ask? Allow me to tell you, oh great viewer. As I said before, this logo is the suit's centerpiece. It's the first thing a criminal will see when he shows up to enforce justice, and the first thing one in danger will see when he swoops in to save the day. So I wanted the logo to have this double meaning almost. For the average criminal or thug, this logo almost seems like a brick, nearly losing its readability as an O, and it becomes this warning. This immovable object, an unrelenting force, a sign that says, I'm here and I'm going to stop you, versus the damsel in distress that sees that same logo and recognizes the O. The gap in the brick that says, I'm here to help, here to be a safe haven. This brick isn't just an impenetrable wall, it's also an O for the Omni-Man, your friendly space alien superhero. And maybe it even serves as a little foreshadowing. Maybe this small gap in this otherwise thick red centerpiece is like a weak point, a vulnerability, teasing his subsequent redemption. Sorry for that tangent, I definitely put way too much thought into a simple logo design. Next up, simple tweaks to his suit pattern. I'm going to be honest with you all, I arrived at a bit of an art block when it came to trying to find a new look for the way the suit's elements are broken up. Normally the suit doesn't have much breaking up, as you can see, it's simply just a few red accents on an otherwise plain white spandex, so I wasn't sure where to go with it. That was until I came across an awesome suit design from one of Omni-Man's Mortal Kombat skins. I loved the way this looked. I decided to use it as inspiration, and with a few additions of my own, I made Omni-Man's suit look like this. I really like the way this pattern contoured his musculature. I found it added to the intensity of Nolan's nature, whether it be his heroic nature or his true nature. I was also really looking for a way to get rid of whatever this weird random line was, while still trying to sneak it back in with a more practical feel. I'm also very guilty of always finding a way to separate different textures in the suit to make it feel more like it was made in a realistic fashion. It's just a thing I like to do. Speaking of suit patterns, there are a few other minor deviations from the original suit that I've made. I mean, this is a redesign after all, but the forearm and leg situation on Nolan's suit always bugged me just a tiny bit. I'm referring to the color switch he's got going on, where his white biceps followed by red forearms contrast his red thighs followed by his white legs. For pattern consistency's sake, I made it match in my version of the suit. I admit this is an odd thing to be bothered by. Maybe being obsessed with Spider-Man your whole life does that to you. He certainly has the whole matching gloves and boots thing going on. And now, finally, among these deviations are some physical pieces I've added to the suit. Firstly, the collar is something I usually add to suits when I want to give it that realistic edge. Something that says this is where the suit ends before it reaches the head, instead of it just perfectly sticking to the top of his chest or neck or whatever. I also found it nicely connected the cape to the suit, you know? Like this is its own separate piece layered on top of it. And as I'm sure you've noticed, there is a kilt attached to Omni-Man's waist. I'm sure you're probably wondering why. What reason could I possibly have for this addition? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a headcanon to share with you. One that I enjoy believing is maybe what happened. So we see Nolan arrive to Earth wearing his Viltrumite uniform, the one that prominently features said kilt. But then this uniform ceases to exist. Next thing you know, he's in his new suit and we never see the original outfit again. So what did Nolan do with his uniform? Where did it go? What if Nolan gave Arthur this uniform and told him, hey, use this as a base to craft my new superhero suit. Make a few adjustments, add a cape, change some colors, and voila, Omni-Man is born. I think that would be pretty cool, like he's repurposed his Viltrumite attire in order to secure the mission, while still leaving behind some remnants of that old suit. Now for the man wearing the suit, Nolan himself. I could have just let this be and not changed much about his look, but I couldn't help myself, so there are changes. The facial hair. It's okay, worry not. I would never mess with that beautiful mustache of his. But I decided to add some complementary stubble. And his haircut, I roughed it up a bit and added some length. Something in between what he had in the first season and what he had during his Solitude in Space. This scruffier look I feel is more in line with Nolan's attitude and lack of complacency. He's not the goody two-shoes Boy Scout like another popular character we know. He's got more going on, which leaves little time to look well kept. Alright everyone, after a few finishing touches, I believe I've somewhat accomplished in finalizing my redesign for the oh-so-powerful Viltrumite Omni-Man. Let's take a look. This design for Omni-Man is really my love letter to both the comic books and the television series. I try to capture the best elements of both versions of the character while bringing new ideas of my own that pays its respects to what I personally love about the character, whether it's tightening up some costume patterns or loosening his style. But of course, I also deeply care about what you think. Please go right down to the comments and let me know how I did. Do you love it? Is it just okay? Do you, hate it? Honest feedback and constructive criticism is very important to my journey in growing as an artist, so have at it. Also, tell me who you want to see me redesign next. Anyways, folks, that is all for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and ring the bell icon if you wish to know when I upload again. And if you'd like to see more of my art, I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Xkara, and Blue Sky. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.